Hello, my family. Well, we're in the kitchen this evening and we're going to prepare another Mediterranean style meal. Now, this one's going to be slightly different. We are making a creamy tortellini with some spinach and tomatoes. And we're going to have, I'm using some fresh sourdough bread that we're going to dip in a really nice olive oil dipping sauce. And this is going to be our supper tonight. We have our vegetables, we have our meat, and we have our pasta tonight. So, if you're ready, join me in the kitchen because we're about to cook. Okay, my family, so we are going to have a creamy tortellini with a creamy sauce, spinach, and tomatoes. Now, right now, I have pre-cooked my sausage, and I'm going to explain that one in a minute. And I have pre-cooked my 5-cheese tortellini. It's actually called Rana's. It is I got this one from Walmart. So what I was looking for is one that was more Italian imported based. These are the pastas I prefer, and they're the ones that are safest even for my husband to have. So we did find Rana's. You'll need about 9 ounces of that. Your sausage, we are using what we have. I do have some Italian sausage, but I have minimal amount, and I have other meals I'd like to use. So what I am actually using in this recipe is a beef kielbasa, and so I pre-cooked this one. You will need 1 pound of Italian sausage, crumbled up, cooked until it is absolutely done. You want the casings removed though, so you do not want your casings. You're just going to crumble up your Italian sausage, and then you're going to stick this in a separate dish. From where I'm going to take you now is our next steps into this fabulous dish. We are also going to serve this. I have fresh sourdough bread that I'm going to toast, and I am going to have a beautiful balsamic olive oil dip for this bread. It's going to be perfect to go with this Mediterranean meal. So if you're ready, let's go to the kitchen and let's get started. Okay, y'all, because I used a kielbasa, I actually strained the fat from my pan. I'm actually going to replace a little bit back with my olive oil. Now, if you used Italian sausage, you don't necessarily have to do that. So I choose to get that fat out of my pan. Sorry about that. Now, after I drained out this, I added my olive oil. You're going to take your sausage, literally, if you used Italian sausage, put it in a dish beside you as we have just done. And now you're going to add 3 cloves of minced garlic immediately after. Now you do want this on a low or medium low temp. You don't want to make your garlic brown. You're just going to add this enough to bring out the flavors in it, or bring out the scent from it, basically. So you're just going to wake up the garlic taste. Now we're going to add tomato halves to this. I'm going to turn this down some more. So you can use any type of tomatoes, small tomatoes, because you're going to turn these in halves. I am using a different type of tomato that I had gotten at, I believe it was Sam's Club. It's called a Campari tomatoes on the vine, and I'm actually going to use these and kind of cut these up like I would use them as cherry tomatoes cut in half. So I'm just going to, like I said, I'm just cutting mine up in pieces. You want about a cup of these tomatoes into your pan. You're going to cook these with your garlic on low, like a low or medium. Like I said, you do not want to overcook your garlic or make it brown because it'll make it bitter. We don't want bitter. So what we do want to do though is cook our tomatoes to where they become softened and release their juices. Oh yeah. This is amazing, y'all. And I can see these juices coming from here already. So we're going to go ahead and finish cooking this up. Once these get cooked, we'll be back. Okay, y'all, so now my tomatoes are softened, and I'm going to add a half a cup of chicken broth. We're going to pretty much deglaze our pan right now. And what I did to not waste, you can use any type of chicken broth you want. I used a half a cup, and I added some better than bouillon flavoring, chicken flavoring to it, and that's what I have. So I'm just going to go through here deglazing this right now, scraping up any bits there is at the bottom, and then we're going to add heavy cream to this next. So I'm going to let this get and deglaze it at the bottom, and then I'm going to be adding heavy cream by 1 cup. Okay, y'all, so now we're going to go ahead and add our heavy whipping cream, and we want to bring this to a gentle simmer. You do not want to boil this. So we're just looking for a gentle simmer for a few minutes at least. Yeah, just you're going to do that for just a few minutes until it reduces some, thickens up a little bit, and then we're going to add the rest of our ingredients in here. Yeah, this looks amazing. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and let this reduce some, and then we will be right back. Okay, y'all, so now we have our gentle simmer, and I'm going to now re-add our sausage back into our pot, and 4 cups of spinach leaves. I am using fresh spinach leaves. I took off the big stems on it. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to. I personally don't think any need for the big stems, so some of them I did miss. But I also, this was pre-washed, but I went and washed it anyways because, well, that's just what I do. So I'm just taking off the bigger stems, and I'm going to add this, and we're going to cook the spinach just enough until it wilts. And then we're going to come back and add our seasonings and our Parmesan cheese. The kind of cheese I will be using, though, is I am switching this recipe. Did y'all see what I just did? I'm switching this recipe up some. So I am using some Pecorino Romano that I had found at Murphy's Cheese Market in Kroger. It's amazing. So, and I had some leftover Parmesan cheese as well, so I'm just going to mix the two together in mine. But you can use, it's perfectly fine. As a matter of fact, the recipe just calls for Parmesan cheese. So I just like to kick things up a notch sometimes. And I will be eliminating the salt due to the fact is I have kielbasa. So you'll find that as well, and I'll be adding that. I'll inform you all on that. So I'm just going to go ahead now, and I'm going to mix this in here until my spinach is wilted. Once it's wilted, we will come back and finish off the rest of this dish. Alright y'all, so I brought you much closer to see this beautiful dish as how it's turning out. So as you see that our spinach is now wilted, all of our ingredients are inside. So now we're going to take our 1/2 cup or so of Parmesan cheese. Again, I'm using Parmesan and Pecorino. And you're just going to stir this in here until it is melted. And at this point, after it melts, you're going to add your salt, pepper, and red pepper flakes if you want. That is an option. So I am going to bypass the salt due to the kielbasa. And I am actually going to be adding a lapo pepper instead of red pepper flakes. And that would be about 1/4 teaspoon. Just enough to give it just a little bit of heat. Not a whole lot. So I'm just going to sprinkle some lapo in here. Oh, y'all see how beautiful this is. And now once our cheese is melted, I'm going to add some black pepper to this as well. You can use white pepper if you wanted to. And you're just doing this to taste. There's no recommended amount to add to that. Same with your salt. And now I am going to be adding my 5 cheese tortellini in here. So I'm gonna break this up, y'all, because I do not want this splashing. Be right back. Alright y'all, so now I'm just going to gently mix everything together in our pan. Now I'm going to take this a little bit gently because I probably could have used a deeper pan, but I didn't. Now this will feed us more than just 2 people. I do have hubby, he gets lunch the next day, and this will also be leftovers. But this makes an amazing one pot meal. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this and heat this up, y'all, and then I'm going to show you how to do the dipping sauce for our sourdough next. Okay, y'all, so I'm going to turn around and toast my sliced sourdough that I have pre-sliced. I'm going to bring my olive oil up to shimmer, and once I get it that way, we're going to toast our bread, and at the same time, we're going ahead and making the dipping sauce to go with this. Okay, y'all, so now my oil is heated up, so I'm going to take my sourdough pieces and I'm just going to coat them on one side in the olive oil, and then I'm going to flip it on the other side as just like this. And now we're just going to toast them on each side until they're golden brown and crispy, and then we'll be back. In the meantime, I am going to get ready to make our sauce that's going to go with this, to go with our amazing meal tonight. Okay, y'all, so this recipe as well will be in the description box below for you, because I think it would be amazing if you're using, whether you're using sourdough, baguettes, or any type of bread that you want to use to dip with your stuff. So I am literally going to, the recipe calls for 1 cup. And we're talking about 2 people, so you know I'm not doing that. I'm just going to cut this down 1/4, 1/2 cup. And I'm going to be adding a 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar. Calls for 4 cloves of garlic minced. And I'm actually going to be adding some garlic powder in this one. Now I'm going to use about a teaspoon of garlic powder, maybe a teaspoon and a half. I need 2 tablespoons of freshly dry, or a finely dry, or a 1/2 cup of finely chopped fresh parsley. I am using organic parsley along with freshly dried oregano, which we need 2 tablespoons of the same thing, whether it be dried or fresh. I'm using dried. Some crushed red pepper flakes. I'm going to use a little bit of Alapo in mine. I just like that beautiful smoky flavor that Alapo has. You can choose to use whatever you like. And then I'm going to use some sea salt to taste. I'm going to mix this all together, y'all. Oh, this is amazing. And I will taste this and see how well this will work. Now, I try to get the best balsamic vinegars. Now, there is one. I have tried this. This is absolutely amazing. If you ever get your hands on something seriously imported from Italy, this here is Vincado. It's an 1825 aged. It's called Original. This literally came from Italy, y'all, and it's a drizzle, basically. It's like a, oh, how do I explain this? It's a very condensed, like I do my pomegranate molasses. This is like grape molasses. So good over salad, your salad or a duck or even chicken. But you just have to use it sparingly because it is 12 grams of sugar, which I will not give this to my husband. But you can even use this over yogurt with some berries, basically. So 1 tablespoon of this is 12 grams of sugar, but this is 100%. There is no sugar in it. It's just from the grape itself. It is an amazing product. All right, let's taste this. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. All right, y'all. Okay, we're going to set this aside, finish toasting our bread. Once this is toasted, we'll come back and I will show you what our supper for tonight is and what I'm fixing to share with y'all for this evening. So I'll get these turned. And we'll be right back. And there's our meal for this evening, y'all. Here's this beautiful tomato, creamy tomato and spinach 5-cheese tortellini with cream sauce. We have our beautiful toasted homemade sourdough bread and our dipping sauce to go with it. And this is what makes an amazing meal the Mediterranean way. I hope you enjoyed being in the kitchen with me, and I hope you try this recipe because it is phenomenal, y'all. So I topped mine with a little bit more pecorino, and it's amazing. So I am actually, you can go ahead and use parmesan to add just a touch to it as well. So y'all, look for the description in the description box. You'll find the recipe for the dip. You will find the recipe for the pasta dish, and those of you who want to see the expansion in a much deeper level, especially those who are Christian based, if you are looking to expand more into your Christian life, look for the expansion as well. Until next time, y'all. Love you bunches, big bunches, hearts, and we'll see you again really soon from Parton's Mediterranean Homestead.